Hey guys, it's Adrienne from Crafty Little Gnome and Little Gnome Business, and today I'm going to be doing a video on the biggest photography mistakes that Etsy sellers and handmade online sellers make when they're setting up their listings. Before we get started, I just want to give a shout out to Sherry in Virginia. Her shop is called Winni Guinea Poo, and she makes really cute toys and accessories for guinea pigs, rabbits, rats, and all of the small animals that you might find in your local pet store. Except I think hers are nicer and they're handmade, which is also really cool. So if you have a rabbit or a guinea pig or someone in your family or your friends do, definitely check out her shop. I'll put a link in the comments and also in the shop description so you can go ahead and check out her stuff because it's super cute. If you would like a shout out, go ahead and leave your shop link in the comments so I can go check it out. And I will be choosing different online shops to feature in a shout out. It can be Etsy, Amazon Handmade, eBay, Shopify, whatever you got, go ahead and leave a comment. I also have a free seller guidebook. It's all my best tips and tricks that I have learned in the last 10 years selling on Etsy. So if you want a copy, there is a link in the comments and the description, and I will email it straight to your inbox. I also have a Facebook group for people who sell their arts and crafts online. It's called the Crafty Entrepreneurs group. I do lives every week, and if you would like to join, there is a link in the comments and in the video description. All right, let's get started. So I've talked in the past about photography and taking pictures of your handmade items and why it is so important. If you aren't taking good photos, everything you do with trying to learn SEO, writing your descriptions, even the quality of your work, it's not going to matter if your photos don't look amazing. You could have the most beautiful handcrafted piece of artwork, but if you're not photographing it well, nobody's going to want to buy it, and you're not doing your art and your craft justice by posting a bad photo of it online. So photography is super important. I've got other videos that share photography tips of what to do and what not to do. Today we're going to talk about some of the mistakes that people make. The first mistake I want to talk about is blurry photos. You guys, if you don't have a steady hand, it's so hard. I know if you're using your phone or a camera, use a tripod. I'm serious. Use a tripod and also take advantage of the timer setting on your phone or your camera. So when I'm taking photos with, this is the Nikon Coolpix. It's less than $200. It's a great photo if you don't, or a great camera if you don't want to use your phone. It has a timer on the side here, which I definitely take advantage of. So what I'll do is I'll set up my tripod, like if I'm taking pictures here in my dining room, I'll set up my tripod, I'll put the camera on, I'll get everything perfect with the lighting, and then I'll set the timer. It can either do 2 seconds or 10 seconds. And I just hit the button, I take my hands away, it takes the shot, and it's perfect every single time. Don't have to worry about wobbling. Sometimes when you hit that button, after you hit it, then it's going to jolt the camera and you're going to end up with a blurry photo. So you really need to make sure that your photos are not blurry. They need to be nice and crisp and clear. Another thing that you want to make sure is that you're not using the flash, especially if you're trying to photograph something that can have a little bit of a glare. So if you're taking a picture of a mug that you made or artwork that has a glass on it, if you take a picture with the flash just bounces right back and it's going to create an ugly glare in your photo, and you definitely don't want that. If you are taking a picture of artwork or something with a frame that has glass and you can remove the glass, I would recommend doing that. You just want to make sure there's no glare in there at all. If it is something ceramic, again, don't use the flash. Use diffused light from the window or wherever you are. If you have a window in your house, put like a white sheet over it to block any direct sunshine from coming in. If you're taking your photos outside, make sure you have a tent or something overhead that you can use to block any direct sun rays. Or even better, wait until it's just a little bit overcast so you don't have to worry about any harsh lighting. Bad lighting is the next thing I want to talk about, and that goes with the flash. So you want to make sure that you are using natural light always. If you don't have natural light, if it's like not an option, you can get light bulbs from the hardware store that mimic daylight. You want to look for the bright white, blue tint, cool lighting. Usually if you go to Home Depot or any of the home improvement stores, they have a whole aisle and they'll have it lit up so you can see, and you want to make sure you are buying the one that is bright white, more on the cool side than the warm side. One thing that can affect your photos is the color of your walls. So if you are taking photos indoors, be aware of different colors that can reflect. It can be the color of your walls, it can be the color of your shirt, it can even be the color of your phone case. So keep that in mind, and you might need to change to a white phone case or put up some sheets in your house so that you're not getting an ugly glare of a different color. Right now the walls in my dining room, besides this brick wall behind me, are blue. The walls in my house start reflecting blue tint onto my photos and they start turning up blue. I'm going to want to think about either switching rooms or putting up some kind of sheet. You can also use a giant piece of poster board to reflect the light, so keep that in mind. You can also make sure that you're wearing a white shirt. That can really help so you're not getting any like glow or reflection or tinting from wearing like a green shirt or a red shirt, and it really will help to brighten up the photos as well. The next mistake I see people making is using a bad background. People use all sorts of weird stuff in the backgrounds of their photos. People will put it on the floor where it doesn't look good. They'll put it on top of the washing machine, on top of a couch with a bunch of laundry on it. They take photos in places that don't look professional. It just looks like a messy house. Or they'll have pet hair or animals. You want to make sure that even if you are taking photos in your own home and you don't have access, which most of you probably don't, to a professional studio, that you do what you can to make it look professional. So that could mean taking all the furniture out of a room so that you have the space to work with. If you are selling something large like a big blanket or like an Afghan or something, and you don't have a space to lay it out, I would remove everything from a room that you want to work in, find a way to hang it on the wall or from the ceiling, and then take a wide shot that way so that people can see the whole thing without having to, lay it on the floor or laying it on a couch or a kitchen table where it looks really awkward. Going with what I was talking about with a bad background is also bad angles. When I try to do photography for my jewelry, I try to do a straight shot up ahead, so right over top as one of them, or I'll try to do it straight like this. I also do some interesting angles, but I see a lot of photos that have really bad and awkward angles. So not only will it be photographed on an awkward object, but they're also trying to get it all in the frame and have it fit, and it just looks weird and not right. So what I would do, again, like I said, try to hang it up from the ceiling or a wall if it's something large that you're doing, or clear everything out so that you have the space so you don't have to get in there and then show a picture of it looking kind of awkward and crooked. The mistake that I see people make is not styling their photos. So I always try to use a few props. You want to make sure that it's not looking cluttered, like there's too much extra stuff that doesn't belong there. But when I have a flat lay photograph where my jewelry is just laying there flat, I try to include some extra props. So that could be like the corner of a jewelry box, or I could have like a few leaves or part of a flower. but I always want to make sure that the jewelry I'm selling is in the center, and that is what the focus is on. So you don't want people to get distracted by extra props. You want it to be the props to complement the item that you're photographing. So you want to make sure that you use similar types of props in all of your photos. You want to maintain a style and try to stick to like a theme for your brand. So I use a lot of wood backgrounds, and I use a lot of props that are like flowers or leaves that are there, but they don't take away from the jewelry that I'm selling. It all just kind of fits in with the same natural farmhouse, Pacific Northwest theme and brand that I've got. Alright guys, so those are the biggest mistakes that I see with sellers of arts and crafts making with their photography online. If you want more tips for your handmade business, make sure you subscribe to my channel. Bye!